me see here. Do I lose volume? No, I do not. Okay, this is Bakbatu. I want to comment on something which has kind of basically been the kind of buzz talk, if you will, among the college football, among the NCAA, or the video gaming world, sports gaming world in particular. And that is the idea of this game coming back. As you may have heard, the big thing with that was the players' likeness. The players, of course, staking a claim of the players' likeness being used. Their height, their weight, their everything being used. And it just seemed to me, and it just seems, anyway, that's what held the game. That's why we have not had a game in who knows how long. In the last, certainly the last few years. In any case. But now there's talk about the game coming back. And hello to the view. No, but now there's talk about the game coming back. There is talk about, what EA wants to do, apparently, is that they want to use the actual player names, or the player likeness and all that other stuff. Hard to tell exactly what for sure. But in any case, EA has come out and said there is no plans to there is really no plans for a new game. But the thing is, though, what sparked the firestorm, if you will, is a leak or a report or something that apparently came out of EA headquarters. Somewhere, somebody at EA set out some kind of announcement, or I don't know. And as a result, there was a lot of there was a lot of controversy. I shouldn't say controversy, but a firestorm of rumor saying that EA was going to bring back the game. But moving past that, okay, let's say EA does bring it back, either this year or more likely next year. There's people in the community who want to basically have it whereas EA just continues to do pretty much what it did before, um, which is use the made up names, maybe the player's likeness or the player's height and weight and whatever else not, which I can never really see as a problem because the player's name was not used. And the faces, as you can tell, just by looking at recruiting here, and there's a point to this. As you can tell, the faces here are pretty much all generic. It's just as well that I'm in recruiting here, kind of showing these, the differences here. These are all pretty generic faces, where most people look pretty much the same. I don't know why I didn't offer this guy anything. All the faces look pretty much the same. So, because of that, I don't see how the player's likeness could have been being used. And I think neither did the judge who presided over the case, which is why he threw it out. One of the reasons why he threw it out. But in the end, as I said before, assuming, let's assume for a second EA does bring back NCAA football, either this year or more than likely now next year. Now there's a lot of there are some people in the community who are of the opinion that it should be left up. EA should just simply put out the game, a basic game, and then containing all the information that of the current players, but not the actual, maybe even the actual names. But really everything but the actual names. Actually, come to think of it, let me backtrack here. The players' weight, the players' everything, or just do what they did in Dynasty mode, which is, and that's to generate generate players, but then leave it open for us in the community to edit a player, and I'll show you what I mean here in a minute. Use the editing function in the game, and this is Dynasty mode, but you'll see what I mean. It says edit roster. Now, let's say if I want to select this player. Now, this is clearly a made-up name here, okay? But let's say I want to edit this player's name. There you go. Now, again, this is Dynasty mode, but still, you can edit all the basic information about that player. I don't see what the big problem is. Now, having said that though, I don't see a whole lot of people, hardly anybody in fact, who would want to go through the trouble of editing the rosters of every single school from Air Force all the way down to Wyoming. From Air Force to Wyoming. Or all of these players in all of these schools from all of these teams. I just don't see anybody wanting to do that. I mean, look at this. This is all. I mean, let's take quarterbacks. Look at all these quarterbacks. Look at all these quarterbacks. Who's going to take the time? Who is going to take the time to edit all these quarterbacks? Just the quarterbacks alone, it would take forever. Who is going to do that? Answer, nobody. Nobody. And so, should EA decide to come out with NCAA football again, I can almost guarantee you. That if there's a mode that will be very, very popular, other than Ultimate Team, it will be Dynasty. There may be, again, as I say, Ultimate Team. I'm just kind of going through the game here to kind of ad-lib my way visually. The Dynasty will become a very, very popular mode. Next to maybe Ultimate Team. Maybe. And that's assuming that EA is even allowed to use the actual player names in the player packs in Ultimate Team. If they're not, Ultimate Team in NCAA football is not going to be very popular. So, rather than in which case, Dynasty is going to be the only popular mode. Other than head-to-head. I take that back. Head-to-head is probably going to be popular. Head-to-head will be somewhat popular. But again, as I say, nobody's going to want to edit out the roster names, to make it look normal. Those that do will probably stick with one team and just say, the heck with it. The heck with everybody else. Those same people will likely want to play Dynasty mode and do it there in Dynasty mode. Actually, they won't even do it there for the simple fact that in 4 years, guess what? All those players will be gone. That's why I truly believe Dynasty Mode will be very, very popular. Because Dynasty Mode because in a very short period of time, Dynasty Mode, the players in the current roster in Dynasty Mode will all be gone after about 2, 3, 4 seasons. Yeah, however long it takes. There won't be anybody from the current roster once you get to playing Dynasty Mode left on the left, which is why when everybody keeps asking asking if I have the current rosters or why I don't use the current rosters. Well, there's a reason for that. That, ladies and gentlemen, look at that year. I'm like 3 years ahead of real life right now. That means the freshman class of 2016, the freshman class that will be going to college later this year are all seniors by the time 2019 rolls around. So when you're like 2 and 3 years ahead, it doesn't really pay to have the current roster, because the only players that are from the current roster, the current 2016 roster that will still be around, are those that are now seniors. And soon, by the time NCAA football season rolls around again, there won't be any need at all for to have the current rosters, because there'll be nobody left. Because I'll be in the 2020 season, if not 2021 season, while we're still dealing with 2016. So, which is why I say Dynasty Mode in this game, Dynasty Mode, heck, in this game alone is very, very popular. I guarantee you, should there be a new version coming out, a next-gen version coming out, I guarantee you Dynasty Mode will be even more popular, because nobody, as they say before, nobody is going to want to do this. With one team. At least, certainly not the average player is going to want to edit all these players. This is just my Dynasty team here as an example. Look at all these players. Look at them. Look at all of them. Who's going to want to edit a roster that big? To say nothing of all of this. To say nothing of all of that. Every player in all of college football. Who's going to want that? Who's going to want to do that? Not a lot of people will. Some people might, and some people will. But a lot of people, the vast majority of players, I can guarantee you, won't even bother. So, people can fight. People can say all they want by leaving it up to the community. And I'm just saying, you know what? Yeah, you leave it up to the community, but you get to playing Dynasty mode. You're not going to care. You're not going to care what other people are doing. You're not going to care about having a current roster because if the only mode that you play is Dynasty mode, you're not going to care. You're not going to give a damn about having the current roster. If you go head to head, okay, yeah, you might. You might. Then again, you may not. If you go head-to-head, either online or offline, online with somebody, halfway across town, or offline with somebody right here in the same room with you. You're probably not going to care too much. Maybe you will. Maybe you won't. But one thing is for certain, though. Without that support, without that, shall we say, without the ability to use not only the likeness, but the names of real players, Ultimate Team is as good as dead in college football, in the NCAA Football 14. There will be no more nothing in the new version. Ultimate Team, you can take that out. Head-to-head will still be there for those who really want to play that mode. Dynasty mode will still be there. Road to Glory will still be there. But Dynasty, and those modes will still exist no matter what people in the community say or want or choose to do or think EA should do. But and EA, I'm saying this to you as well. Now, don't feel obligated to have to go use to get the actual player names. As a lot of people have said, you'll leave it up to the community. If you yourselves cannot use the actual player player likeness, name, height, weight, all that other stuff, fine. Just put out the game and let the community go through that, trouble. If they really want to do that. Those of us in the community really want to do that. Let us do that. Those of us who play the game, if we want to actually have that information, we can get it. We all know, Operation Sports is a very popular board. Very popular. You don't even have to have it on your site, have the information stored anywhere on your site. Operation Sports, is community driven. People can post on there. Heck, if Operation Sports comes under pressure to take it off, there's always Twitter. There's always social media. Can't hide it forever. Word will get around. And those who really want to go through the trouble of editing rosters will do so. Those who don't, won't. They'll play Dynasty mode. They'll play head-to-head. Play all the other modes. Just won't have the real player names or height and weight and all that other stuff. They'll do Road to Glory. Yeah, and the thing with Road to Glory is, after 4 seasons, after 4 years, you're not gonna care. You're not gonna care about whether your Road to Glory players playing with teammates who have the actual teammates whose names are the actual player names or whatever. Because after 4 full seasons of college football, guess where you're gonna want to put your player? You guessed it, Madden. Speaking of Madden, I have this idea. How about you do this? Since Madden Ultimate Team is this big game in and of itself, how about you do this? And actually, we're going to take a little break here. I have an idea about Madden in this game and all that stuff that I will post, that I will also make in a few minutes.